Hey there, welcome. My name is Jessica Buchanan, and I'm a New York Times bestselling author, professional speaker, and founder of Soul Speak Press, a non-traditional publishing company created for women who've been through something, now they know something, and they can teach us something. In Her Words is a podcast designed to support aspiring memoir authors on their writing and publishing journey. It's hard work, this writing and publishing stuff, and I want to empower you with encouragement and information so you can keep sharing your truth. So grab your coffee, your notebook, find a quiet space, and let's dive in. Okay, so I'm so excited about today's conversation. I'm always excited about conversations because most of the time I'm just doing this by myself, so this is a nice change, but slowly and surely we're going to be introducing the different team members that make up Soul Speak Press, and I thought it was time to introduce Loren Buchanan, who, if you picked up on that, we share the same last name. Not only are we work counterparts, but she's also my sister-in-law, and we've been working together for a very long time. And so I thought it'd be really interesting to have her come on the podcast and explain what she does here at Soul Speak Press. Basically, Soul Speak Press wouldn't exist if it weren't for Loren. So thank you very much. Welcome, Loren, to the show.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here. I am fairly involved in the show, so it's fun to be on it.
Yeah, I know. That too, not just Soul Speak Press, but the show and all of it, everything. Okay, so I don't need to explain you to you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your function is here at Soul Speak Press?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I am Jess's sister-in-law, which everyone always asks when they notice that we have the same last name. They're
Yeah.
like, "Are you guys sisters?" And I'm like, "Not quite, sister-in-laws." The way that we got connected is I married your younger brother, and then
Mhm.
over the course of time, we kind of got connected in more professional ways where we've been involved in a handful of different projects. I work with you on your speaking
Yep.
engagements, but then, yeah, as Soul Speak Press took form in your heart, then I was able to kind of help push the project into the world, which is
Yeah.
really my whole role here at Soul Speak Press is to be a bit of the project manager. And then as things go with ventures like this is that everyone has their hands in a little bit of everything. And so I my role right now is I'm still very much customer facing in the sense of like I make sure the website is where it needs to be, social media, on top of the project managing for all of our anthologies
Mhm.
and anything that in the podcast and future projects that we have coming out.
Which there are a lot of them. I
Mhm.
like to say that Loren is the integrator and I'm the visionary. So we're a very good team because for someone like me who has lots of ideas and is always churning out like an idea, but doesn't necessarily have the like sacral energy to bring something like that to life and to form, and also doesn't have the technical capacity, oftentimes to bring something to form, it's such a relief to me to be able to come to you and sometimes you're going to say no, sometimes you're going to say that's not going to work, sometimes you're going to say we don't have time for that right now. Most of the time you're like on board, but to be able to watch your ideas unfold and come to life is so gratifying and so satisfying. Like, I don't know if you understand how important that is.
Well, that's very nice because it's funny because I feel the exact same way, kind of in reverse, where it's like there are moments where I'm like, I have no idea for this. Like my idea valve stopped, but you're like, I've got ideas for days. Let me share some with you. Let me show you the vision. And then it's like once I can kind of see the big picture of what you're looking for, it's like in my head, I see everything fall into place of like, okay, this we need to do this, and this can set up this, and then we can trigger this. And I like see the whole map, and I can generally for the most part do it all. Sometimes we got to pull in help um, for some technical things or even time issues. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I can kind of see the map of it. And I guess that's I can see the whole project and how we're going to get there and what needs to happen. And
Right.
I love that. I love that organizational piece of feeling like, well, on topic, but like in control of it and be like, okay, here's what we got to do.
I'm
So I
so
love it.
grateful because I don't like that at all. Like sometimes we'll be on meetings and sharing the screens and she'll be like setting up something and I'm watching her like do her thing and I have to force myself to like focus because it's like word salad, right? Like it all just like like my mind can't my mind, it's like I look away. Have to look away because like it's just like so much for my mind. But, I mean, obviously, Soul Speak Press, it's such a testament to your skill because we've been in business for what, 2 years?
Soul
And look
Sweet
at all
Press, yeah.
look at all the things that we've done.
It's incredible. It is incredible. I mean, the fact that we're working on our third Deserts Mountaintops anthology
Yeah.
is wild. It is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of us for one. Like, I know we kind of have this moment, but I'm so proud of us of where we are and how we come in the amount of women that we've been able to bring into the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of this job. Like when I've talked about this job, that is a question sometimes that people ask, like, well, what do you enjoy about this? And it's like, well, really, it's the community of women that we get to bring in.
Mhm.
We get to see such a transformation when they write their stories. Like, I think of the women who come into this project that we have that initial contact with, and they're like thinking over the project, feeling all sorts, a range of emotions about it, whether they're like super stoked about it or maybe a little insecure. And when we see them write that story and we see them finish that story, maybe a little imposter syndrome sets in when then they now have to promote that story. But the woman that we see at the end of this project, who is confident, transformed, healed
Yeah.
from the experience, it's like it's an amazing thing to see over the course of 6, 8 months.
And
I
you
mean, it's
see it, right?
incredible.
I mean,
I
sometimes I think
do.
I'm the only one who sees it because I'm in this, like, in the muck of their stories and working through all of the edits and spending, because I get a lot of one-on-one time with them, but I love hearing that. Like, that's really interesting.
Yeah, because we get those pings and those texts and those emails in the middle of a project where it's like you hear a little bit of the self-doubt come through from the author. But then by the end, you see that self-confidence. It's like they were able to answer their own question with their own power, with their own voice, because they just showed up every day, they wrote, they show up
Mhm.
every day, they promote themselves, they find a way to tell their story. And it's just so it's impactful for the
Yeah.
author, then it's impactful for the reader. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's my favorite part of the whole thing. And it's the reason that we keep doing what we do when we have
Right.
those, when we have those moments where we feel overwhelmed or we're like, wow, we've only been in business 2 years and we're look at all these things that we have going on. We just, I don't know, that's what we always come back to is just the transformational power of
Yeah.
writing and telling your story
So that would you say that's your why for working with Soul Speak Press?
for sure. Yeah. I for sure think that way because I know on a personal level it's like how many times in my life have I felt like that, like I didn't know what to do, I felt insecure about it and I just needed someone in my corner to be like, go girl, this is great, keep showing
Mm.
up, your story is important, your voice is important, we want to hear you in your unique experience. Like, you don't get a community like that very often and sometimes you just really need someone to do that for you and I feel like we get to do that for people.
Mhm.
And I think that that's really my why behind it. It's why I love doing this.
Yeah. So what would you say your least favorite part of working for Soul Speak Press is,
Mm.
or with
Well, I
creating?
think with any business, there's growing pains. And
Mhm.
so we have our fingers in so many pies. Is that the
So I
analogy?
heard someone say that this morning on a podcast. I was like, that's interesting.
We have our hands on everything. So from the big picture all the way to the what I call button pushing, which is like
Mhm.
the social media content posting, the shifting of the image from this side of the web page to that side of the web
Yeah.
page. And I think just the scale of that and the scope of that combined with time management, really, that one gets me. Because
Oh,
on a personal level, the other piece of my life is that I am a mom and a wife, and I've got two little girls who are young. I've got a 4.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, and so my time is like all over the place.
it's all over the place. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was just gonna say that. Yeah. Plus you're moving. So you're like in the
Plus,
middle of
we're
a big,
moving.
huge transition, like not just moving down the street, but moving to a different part of the country. So,
Yeah.
you've got a lot going on, but you still somehow managed to get it all done, which I am eternally grateful for.
Well, that's
What do you
important to me.
well, I was gonna say, like, that's a great, like, transition into, like, what do you hope for Soul Speak Press in the next, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Because you've got a real stake in this whole process because you've been with me from the very beginning. I
Yeah.
was thinking about it this morning. I was taking a walk and we have a creek and a woods behind our house that I love and I spend a lot of time like in the woods. Like your local weirdo creeping around in the creek bed, especially in the wintertime. That's when because I'm allergic to poison ivy and I live on the East Coast, and so it's just like covered in poison ivy. So I can only go back there in the winter. And I remember it was on the heels of you and I had worked on another project that had really just fallen apart. And that was like super hard and devastating for me. I don't know how devastating it was for you, but I think it was hard for you too. But um, I was in the backwoods walking around and I knew that there was something around soul, something that I was like, because I'm always brewing with like ideas for another company or another idea for like another business or something. I knew like I really loved branding for authors and stuff. And then I was standing there by the creek and Soul Speak came to me. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's what this is. That's what this is. Um, but it's morphed, it's evolved in the couple of years that we've been in business from what I thought it was going to start out to be, because that's how it goes. And I know I have my ideas of what I know is going to be in the next, 2, 5, 10 years. But what about you? What do you think?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because that Soul Speak Press has taken quite a transition. And it's like, it's funny that we found a bit of our niche in that anthology space,
Yeah.
which is really kind of a new, it's not new, I guess, but it's new to the memoir nonfiction world, I think, and the way that
Mhm.
we're doing it is so
Yes.
unique.
I think our
Um,
methods are different.
yeah, our methods are different, and the way that we teach the course and the way that we kind of invest in the women so that they can build a platform out of their story and become a best-selling author, I think is unique for these memoirs. But well, to answer your question that you actually asked, is the word growth. We've seen so much over the past 2 years, and we have so much coming. But I see growth as in two ways: as the business that we keep bringing women in to our memoirs, and we keep offering more and more options for people to tell their story, whether that's through the Deserts to Mountain brands, the In Her Words collection, which is a little sneak peek of coming soon.
So
Martin, note that
excited.
more to come on that, or through the podcast, or even through the anthologies that we curate with other women, who other lead authors who have a heart behind a theme. Like,
Yep.
I can just see the growth from the author perspective, bringing these women in, telling their stories in the communal way.
Yeah.
So on that piece, definitely, but I would love to see the Soul Speak team grow as well.
Mhm.
We have, we work with a handful of women in part-time, even sometimes full-time capacity during different parts of the year.
Mhm.
And I would love to see that team of women grow and to
Mhm.
see more people step into what they're really good at
Yeah.
and utilize that in a way that can grow Soul Speak Press.
Yes.
So I really see that anthology and collection piece for us just
Yeah. Going gangbusters.
going gangbusters.
Yeah.
And man, I'm so excited for the things that were coming up because we have new technologies. We're even going to have, hopefully, I'm not speaking out of turn here, but we're going to have an app
Go ahead
for
and
our,
plug it. Yeah. I mean, we'll
yeah,
do
we're
a
going to
whole
have,
episode, and
yeah,
actually, you and I should do the episode together so you can explain the technology behind it. But go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to have an app for Soul Speak Press, and it's a way for us to connect with our authors on a more consistent, really clear basis where we can prompt them with writing prompts, and we can
Mhm.
have them communicate with us through the app, and all the materials and videos and information they need are all going to be in there. It's going to be a way for everyone to have community right on their phone like we already do,
Right.
but just a
Right.
way for it to be really
But
specific to our
it's a safe
authors.
space, right?
Exactly.
I'm so excited about it. I downloaded this new app. It's called Superhuman. Have you heard about this?
No.
And I love it so much. I'd heard about it or read about it on something. Maybe I saw it on Instagram, and then I listened to an interview with the creator on Gold Digger with Jenna Kutcher, right? Of
Of
course.
course.
And pretty much
Love her.
anything I know, anything she recommends. I'm like, I'm gonna check that out. And it was a little pricey. It was like $30 a month, which I feel
Oh,
like
wow.
is pretty expensive for an app because I pay for a couple other like meditation apps. It's a game changer.
What is it?
It's called Superhuman. It's so aesthetically pretty. And it's all these like activations and affirmations and like meditations set to music. and they have walking activations. They have laying on the floor with your legs up the wall affirmations. They have getting ready, and they just like cycle through. And I get like these prompts or these like, congratulations, you've done 30 affirmations already. You're like in it. And I'm like, yes, I am in it. And I every time I listen to it, like I've just been listening to it constantly instead of like podcasts or instead of music, because I'm like, why not? Um, and I've been thinking about like like how useful an app is for something
Yeah,
so simple, right?
totally.
And I can't wait for us to like finish up this offering and bring it to our community. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Love that.
So, um, what do you want someone listening to know about Soul Speak Press, and I guess about a little bit more about you in particular in terms of like what it means to work with
Mm.
you.
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Well, I think in some ways the answer I think to both is really similar, but I would really want people to know who are considering working with Soul Speak Press, who already are, might be in the thick of writing their chapter, is I genuinely care about you and your story and what you want to do with your story. So if your goal is to use it as a platform to to build a business, to build a speaking career, just to get your story out there and encourage women, I'm here to help you, and I want to make sure that you know what your next steps are, and I can help point you in the right direction to get that started, because I don't want you to feel like you have all these great ideas but you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I think that's the key is
Mhm.
key is that I can be the connector. I can help you get to where you want to go. I have some resources that we can send your way if I don't know how to do it personally, I don't know how to tell you to do it personally, but we can get you to where you want to go. If you have a vision, you have a goal with your story, we genuinely care about seeing that happen. You know,
What are
I
some
think
examples of when that's happened with some of our authors?
yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people feel overwhelmed by the social media piece that comes with being an author.
Yeah.
Whether they already have one and they don't know what to do with it to grow it, or they want to get started. We have some amazing connections to help people increase your digital footprint, whether that's social media or a website. We know so many skilled people to get you to the place you want to go. Sometimes you just need a little understanding of how to do it, and maybe you come up with your own ideas, and I can walk you through best practices and the why behind why we do this. Social media can sometimes feel icky, self promotion can
Yeah.
sometimes feel icky, and that's the piece that I really like. If I can change your mind and show you how to tell your story and how to do it authentically and with thin slices of the details of what you've been through and how it's going to help people, it changes the whole game. It changes your
Yeah.
mindset and it can help you reach your goals.
Yeah.
We have resources for people to help you with your social media if you just want someone to do it for you. We have so many things to help you understand best practices,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's really the piece there, is like we can do that for you. And I love being able to connect that in your head or connect you with people to help you with that. Love being the connector on that.
Yeah. And you're so good at it.
I genuinely enjoy it. The best part of my day, the piece that I really love, is really just connecting with actual people. I can get things done. I can sit in my little
Yeah.
corner and do my little thing. But what I really love is making sure that our authors feel connected to their purpose of why they're doing this, and then with the next steps of what they need to do, resources wise.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's helpful because I feel like maybe we need to like reevaluate some of your roles here.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of being a project manager. And I think,
Yeah.
as we grow, I can kind of grow more into that role for authors. I
Hmm.
love if I have a day that's full of phone calls, I think you feel the same way, but I enjoy it. The day goes by so fast. I feel full and fulfilled and
I
like
need
we're
like
doing what we're
half the
supposed to be
day.
doing.
I need to have a couple. I've like adjusted. I'm like really leaning into my projector status. So I'm like, okay, I can do like a coaching session. Then I need a 2 hour break. And then I can go do another coaching session. And then I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're probably more of an extrovert than I am.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, this is a whole nother thing, but I've been working from home for a while now. That's the beauty
Yeah.
of what we do, is we both work remotely. I'm over
Yeah.
here in Nashville for the time being. And but I'm working from home and then trying to balance work life balance with kids, and then
Yeah.
working from home has always been an interesting one. But I do miss that about office life because I had so much personal contact with people. So now video is the way that I get that in.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. I'm like, it just depends on the day. It depends on my mood. It depends on
Yeah.
my, it probably depends on my hormones.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm just
okay.
like, I'm either in baby land and then somebody using like an adult to talk to me. Come, let's
Yes,
communicate.
I
But
remember those days for sure. I remember spending hours having conversations that I did not want to have, and you know how much that pains me just for that contact, but now I'm in a space of parenthood where my kids are older and now they're like gone all the time, and I'm kind of like, I like it, but at the same time I kind of miss them. So,
yeah,
it it, it it's weird. It ebbs and flows.
yeah.
Um, all right. So, I'm trying to think of any other questions I wanted to ask you. It's hard to talk to somebody and interview somebody that you know so well.
So well. Yeah.
Um, okay. Well, any last things you want to leave with our listeners?
Um, just glad that I think extreme gratitude for the community that we have at Soul Speak. I mean, online or our women authors. I just when I think about the relationships that we have with them and the work that we've continued to do with them, like some of our authors from Deserts Mountaintops we're still working with in different capacities, whether it's curating anthologies or writing their books. But I love the consistent connection as far
Mhm.
as they're still involved and they're still telling their stories and we're getting to help with that. Just extreme gratitude for all of them.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Definitely. I just feel really lucky. I like every day I wake up and I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm so lucky to get to do this with my life.
Yeah,
And
totally.
yeah, it does feel really purposeful. Yeah.
Definitely.
So thank you for helping me live out my purpose and helping these other women live out their purpose, and sharing their stories, because it wouldn't happen if it weren't for you. So,
Yeah, that's sweet. Well, I'm grateful for the opportunity.
In Her Words is hosted by me, Jessica Buchanan, and is produced by Soul Speak Press, a non-traditional publishing house for women who are ready to tell their story. If you would like to know more about our submission process, I encourage you to check us out at www.soulspeakpress.com or follow us over on Instagram at soulspeakpress. We appreciate all your questions, and if you would like to leave us a review, we would be so grateful.